America, you are beautiful, and welcome in to the Business Pulse. I'm Chuck Barham. We're brought to you by the Freedom Chamber online at freedomchamber.net. It's Dean Owen, it's Rod Martin, usual suspects, and we're going to be talking to Chris Bernardine over at Unita, talking about the Flex Shield program in a little bit. So hang on for that as we talk about our healthcare solution that you can find inside of the Freedom Chamber. Gents, a couple topics to cover. Let's talk about the UFC on the South Lawn of the White House on Sunday. To me, the production value, everything perfect. Even Mother Nature decided to go, hey, we're going to go north, we're going to go south, and let this event happen. Rod, your thoughts, if you got to witness it live and in person, or if you've seen the social media clips, but that was nothing but 100% Americana right there.
It really was, and the media meltdown is typical elitist bunk. They pulled off an incredible performance. It was wildly entertaining. It was very pro-America, and of course, all of this in spite of the fact that nutball leftists wanted to send drones and snipers to blow it all up. So thank God we have an FBI that's on the ball now. In any case, it was great. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful day to be an American on that Sunday night. Dean, your thoughts?
Oh, it was just, I couldn't say more about how pro-American it was, and showing off some truly elite fighters, and having at a sporting event, and just the structure they were in, and having that. I understand that was shipped in from Europe, to have that put up and rectified, and that's one thing about this president. If he's going to do something, it's going to be big, and that was big and beautiful.
Yeah, Trump doesn't happen. That's for sure.
That was the OBB. One big beautiful bash.
Yes, it was. And yes, Dean and Rod, you are correct. The left is still exploding over it today, and I'm sure they'll be exploding over it for a couple of weeks. Just like they're exploding over the cost of oil, down below $80 today. Rod and Dean, we talked about this. If I can, I'm going to have Mike, our producer, go back into the archives sometime in March. We talked about that oil would be below $80 before the 4th of July and our 250th birthday. And gosh darn it, Rod, you were right.
Well, and it will get better. The president had his press conference here an hour or so ago. He's perfectly clear. If the Iranians don't play ball, we just start bombing again, and we will do more and worse. The blockade doesn't go away until there's a truce signing. That too will be drawn down over time, so it'll be extremely easy to reimpose it. So the Iranians don't have a lot of good choices here, and I think that's the point. I think that 60-day period is likely to be one in which the Iranian factions rip each other apart. We saw that in part the last couple days. The IRGC put its people in the streets, protesting and, showing support for the regime. And they were chanting for the death of the people negotiating a deal with America. That includes their foreign minister. That includes some pretty senior officials. We've never heard that before. So these people are not together. And I think the president is exploiting that pretty deliberately and pretty effectively. Meanwhile, the price of oil is plummeting. That's going to give a lot of people a lot of relief. That's going to help with other foreign policy initiatives in the works. And it's also going to buy time for more and more of those supply contracts to be entered into in Texas and Louisiana to help supply our allies who have been overly dependent on Russia and the Middle East, while our Middle Eastern friends, particularly Saudi Arabia and the UAE, increasingly bypass Hormuz entirely. Their pipelines through Oman, the East-West pipeline to Yanbu in Saudi Arabia. Potentially, if we can get an overarching Abraham Accords deal done, possibly a pipeline through Israel. And all of that is in the works. So Just one interesting side note that I think a lot of people missed. The president suggested that perhaps the new guy in Syria should help disarm Hezbollah. That would be most interesting, not least because Syria is a former Iranian proxy that is now distinctly hostile to Iran. Do we really want the Syrians in Lebanon again? Not really, but we really do want Hezbollah gone. And Hezbollah is a threat to Syria as it is to Israel, as it is to Lebanon itself. So interesting things afoot there. And of course, there has been some talk for some time of Syria entering the Abraham Accords as well. So we'll see how this plays out, but I am cautiously optimistic.
Yes. Dean, your thoughts?
I likewise cautiously optimistic, but also realistic. We've talked and said many times, when you kill enough of them, then the people of Iran will take over. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that point is. I don't know what that number is, but I understand that last week a brigade of 8,400 IRGC troops took their uniforms off and put their weapons down and tried to blend in. Is that enough? I don't know. But you're not dealing with one Iran. You're dealing with 31 different providences, and each one is largely self-governed. This is not a snake you can cut the head off of. This is a Medusa you got to cut all the heads off of. Because any time there's even one left that's hostile, then you've got a poisonous snake going on. And have we killed them all? Enough of them? I don't know. I strongly suspect that we haven't. I also strongly suspect this president and this team that's negotiating this is playing those 31 factions against each other, promising this one something and promise that one something else, and trying to turn them on each other. It does appear that some of that is happening. And how long do you have to go before they capitulate? And I think the only way you can do this, fix this, is they have to capitulate. And I think they will delay. I think there'll be some fits and starts to this thing. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But the nature of that beast, you're cutting the Medusa's head off. You're cutting the snake's head off. And that's going to take some time to do. And there's always going to be somebody in the background who thinks they can come back into power and wield authority. And, like Rod had said, these people are 12ers. That you can't negotiate with them. They think their job is to destroy the entire world, hopefully with a nuclear weapon, so all will come back. The only thing you can do with that mentality is kill it. There is no negotiation. So I think we're going to have to probably get rid of a whole lot more IRGC. Hopefully that's done by the people inside of Iran and the Anish, which is the nationalistic army of Iran. And I understand we tried to arm the people of Iran, and then the Kurds took the weapons, but they've also got the Kurds that they have no use for the IRGC. So there's lots of ways to get that happen for us to get enough of them killed without boots on the ground. And by now, with the technology and the weapons we've seen, we ought to understand this is not the first Gulf War. This is not the forever war in Afghanistan. This warfare is fundamentally changed in massive ways where we don't need to put boots on the ground anywhere near the number we've had to in the past.
Amen to that. And I think the timing of everything with the G7 summit happening right now, there's a lot of face-to-face conversations, and it should be interesting to see how the next news cycle plays out later today as we're taping this on a Wednesday. I want to shift gears, and I want to talk about the American dream. I want to talk about what happened last week with Elon Musk and SpaceX. Let's think about how many millionaires were made, how many people worked to the bone to make this happen. And then there's people that are crying that Elon Musk is a trillionaire. Well, you know why he's a trillionaire? Because he slept inside of SpaceX for how many months, how many weeks, how many years. These employees were with him, and now they're millionaires. That's the American dream. Work hard, do your thing. 4,400, that's what I've got from my research. 4,400 people during that transition of stock going public became millionaires, 400 of them over $100 million. Cafeteria workers, lab technicians, welders. That, to me, that's the American dream. Rod, I know you probably got some good thoughts on this.
Well, it's really extraordinary. And yeah, it reached to the factory floor where, by the way, Elon spent about 3 years living, on the factory floor. at Tesla in Fremont. And, no one in the world outworks Elon Musk except possibly Donald Trump. It's just extraordinary. But he also took on impossible tasks and made them real. Nobody, when Tesla became a known thing, nobody thought anybody was ever going to buy an electric car. The idea was just crazy. And if they were going to buy an electric car, they were surely going to buy it from GM or Toyota or Honda or somebody established. You can't start a car company in America. Well, of course he did. And it's the biggest car company in the world. And it's about to be the biggest robotics company in the world. And he's not kidding when he says we're probably going to have 1 billion Optimus robots running around in the next 10 years. Likewise, SpaceX. He literally took 2/3 of the money he made at PayPal and shot it into the middle of the air and blew it up. I mean, hey, that's what he did. And everybody's just, oh, this is stupid. Well, but it wasn't stupid. He reinvented rocketry. He reinvented everything having to do with aerospace. He brought down the price to put something in orbit by 95%. And guess what? He has now actually lifted more into space than all the rest of humankind in the world in all of time. It's absolutely unbelievable. So this is a shockingly valuable company. It would not matter what the price was today or tomorrow or next Tuesday. It would be cheap. Whether it goes up or whether it goes down, it will be cheap compared to where you'll be in 10 years. This is going to change human civilization. And if anybody deserves to be a trillionaire, it's the man who made that possible in large measure just by sheer force of will.
Amen. And Dean, I'm sure Elon's in need of a good CPA. Just saying.
Until he came along, the only time we ever saw a rocket go up and then come back down and land and to be reused again was on a Roadrunner commercial. So,
Yes.
but you think about it, in 1970, only about 8% of America had been on an airplane. In just 20 years, it became somewhere around 85 or 90%. And we're at, as far as space travel and that sort of thing, we're probably where aircraft flight was in 1970. And the only difference is once he gets it going, he moves at light speed. He typically overpromises a little bit. It takes a little longer to do what he promises. But once he starts moving, it's only been a few years. And he's now, like Rod said, put more material in space than all of humanity since the beginning of time. And we're going to see space tourism. We're going to see travel, to London from New York in 45 minutes. You don't have to have a spaceport in every country because you've got them on the ocean and you can tow them behind a boat. And that's a rapid deployment of places they can land, send troops, send materials, send goods. And then connecting that to Tesla, connecting that to Starlink, connecting all that to Optimus robots. And we're going to have a world where data decisions are instantaneous, made by AI. So much of what he's doing is allowing that internet connection from Starlink. So now we have drones flying in the air. They identify a threat. It signals an F-30, a Tomcat or somebody to go find it, kill it. And the AI is the one that made all the decisions. There's no general involved. There's no admiral involved. So that kind of stuff is going to get real. It's going to be very fast moving. I liken what we're going through is to 1980s and 90s when the whole world changed because of computers and the internet. And some people get scared of this. And what I've always gone back to is mankind is basically good. So it will mostly be good. Somebody will use it for evil, and we have to pay attention, and we have to keep our spam filters on, and we have to delete the junk emails and the phishing emails, but we'll adjust. And there will be wealth creation, the likes of which no one has ever seen. The future of all the different brain technology, which is bioengineering, robotics, AI, just all of that coming together, and a large part of that's what he's done. And I do not think SpaceX will be his ultimate accomplishment. His ultimate accomplishment will be connecting the entire world, so we're making decisions instantaneously with AI to make our life better and improve humanity.
Absolutely. And part of that American dream is building a business, which Elon did. And part of that building a business is healthcare and your employees. And this is where I'd like to welcome in from Unita, Chris Bernardine, the president and co-founder and of the Flex Shield program that's part of the healthcare solution that we have inside the Freedom Chamber. Hopefully that was a smooth transition, gentlemen. Chris, welcome into the Business Pulse.
Thank you, Chuck. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rod and Dean as well.
It's been a robust discussion from UFC to the prices of oil to SpaceX and trillionaires and billionaires and millionaires. And let's talk about one of the biggest burdens that businesses have in America is healthcare. And what we've done at the Freedom Chamber is we put together a healthcare solution. If you're a Freedom Chamber member, you have access to it. If you're watching this and you know somebody that needs healthcare access, get them involved in the Freedom Chamber at freedomchamber.net. Let's talk about what you've developed, Chris, over at Unita and the Flex Shield program. The floor is yours. Give us that 90-second to 2-minute elevator speech on what makes you guys so important to the healthcare.
Sure. Well, Unita is really an employee benefits and well-being company. We were designed and we were built for employees, because most employees today, even with great healthcare, still have out-of-pocket deductibles, copays. And in today's environment, we have emotional issues as well, whether it's mental or physical. So really, what I want to talk about, when we talk to business owners today, and we talk to folks in regards to their healthcare coverage, what we've seen is healthcare costs continue to rise, which is why the Freedom Chamber has a great program now. You're seeing double-digit increases. You're seeing employers trying to overcome them through increasing deductibles and copays. You're also seeing both mentally and physically country today that's not as strong as it should be. And that's what our program is designed to do. So really, at its core, Unita exists because even people with decent health insurance today have an out-of-pocket. The average out-of-pocket for someone today is about $4,400. Most Americans we see today can't afford $500 out of their pocket, let alone $4,400 out of their pocket. We also see the second largest issue, stress, anxiety, chronic diseases going up. We're starting to see different issues as far as diabetes and people's lifestyles. So what the Flex Shield, or our flagship program, was designed to do was be able to help not change their health insurance, but able to provide coverage for those employees when they need it the most, that out of pocket. So our program is designed to take a product that we filed with the Department of Insurance that helps fill the gap in those copays and deductibles for employees today. At the same time that it can fill those gaps without changing their healthcare plan, it allows them to become a both physically and mentally stronger individual through our well-being programs. The unique part about our program, the way our program works, is when we install our program, it actually most times it's able to be done without any reduction in the employee's take-home pay or without any net cost to them. The way the program is filed, because it's employer-sponsored, we put it through a Section 125 or pre-tax the program. And because they're engaging in our program every month, they're seeing a well-being payment, which offsets the cost to them. So our program is really designed to help cover the individuals, as well as provide adequate services for them, both mentally and emotionally. And then the last thing I'll touch on, because the way the program is structured, there is actually a FICA payroll tax savings to every employer that engages with our program as well. So it really becomes a win-win situation. It's a win for the employees in taking care of them. It's also a win for the employer because they can install a program that actually completes their healthcare plan and at the same time saves some money.
Sounds like a win-win-win. Dean or Rod, any questions for Chris about the Flex Shield program?
Well, the most important one is, how can employers take advantage of this? This is really important.
Sure. We worked with, obviously, Chuck and Tom, obviously, to become a Freedom Chamber member and part of the healthcare solution. We know with the Freedom Chamber, you have several healthcare solutions that are made available. And those are great programs. This is something that can be added to it. You can contact us through the Freedom Chamber. Our information is right on the website, actually on the front page today, along with the healthcare solution you have. You can reach out to You Need It, and our contact information is there. Actually, if you click the link under the healthcare solution and click under our link, you can actually schedule a short 20-minute appointment with us so we can walk through a little more detail how the program works. Today was designed to be an overview to say why the program is good, but we'll dive into how it works, how easy it is to set up for an employer or for an organization, and how it impacts the employees.
Excellent answer. Dean, any questions for Chris?
Not a lot of questions, but I mean, it's obviously they're doing God's work. I've got a significant number of people on my team, and the health insurance is a big issue. There's one couple here that they're pregnant, and she's going to have a baby in August, and so lots of information there. And fortunately, they've got coverage, but some of the folks here are struggling with that. And if you don't take care of your employees, many of them will not take care of themselves. So I know a lot of my clients, if they did not pay for the insurance, the employees would not get it. And that sets you up to where you could end up losing a super high valuable employee who's maybe not sophisticated enough to go out and manage their own healthcare, because managing healthcare insurance is somewhat of a nightmare to get. Obamacare, we all know what that is. That's just a ripoff. But take advantage of these things at a very bare minimum. I might stress to everyone on this channel, everyone who sees this, at a very bare minimum, reach out, have a conversation, see if this is a better solution. Once you have, you will likely save you some money. And in my world, that's my whole job, is trying to save you some money.
Absolutely. And Chris, I know you can find you on freedomchamber.net. If people wanted to reach you personally, is there an email address or something like that they can reach out and say, hey, I want to learn more about this?
Sure. They can either go to unita.care, which is our site, or they can reach out to me directly. And my email address is cbernardine, that's CBERNARDINE, at enhancedcaremd.com.
Excellent. We'll have that on the screen in post-production too, through our great executive producer, Mike, which happens to be on vacation today. And happy 30th anniversary, Mike and Julie. There you go. So Chris, thank you so much for being a part of the Freedom Chamber and what you guys are doing with the Flex Shield program. And it's an opportunity for businesses to save money, employees to save money, and to take care of your employees, as Dean said. Chris, thanks so much for what you guys are doing. And before we wrap up, Dean, where can people find you?
OwenCPA.com. That's OWENCPA.com. Jump online, connect with my team. The conversation and friendship are always free. And let's see if we can disinherit the government and not your kids.
Amen to that. I know we were talking nuclear power today inside the Martin Report. Rod, where can we find you?
rodmartin.org. That's rodmartin.org, where we do daily geopolitical analysis. Fox Business calls absolutely phenomenal. Tens of thousands of subscribers to our long-form content, hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. There's a reason. So come to rodmartin.org.
Yes, sir. Rod, Dean, and Chris, thanks so much for being inside the Business Pulse today. If you're watching this, thanks for being a chamber member at the freedomchamber.net, freedomchamber.net. That is the website. Please share this with your friends, your family that own businesses across America, and let's just keep this ball rolling. freedomchamber.net. And remember, without 2A, there is no 1A. This has been the Business Pulse.
The American dream, full of grit, determination, and unthinkable achievements. Building and owning your own business is a monumental task. A place to find guidance, resources, and connections doesn't exist.
Until now. The Freedom Chamber.
A dynamic and innovative organization established to empower businesses across all sectors. The Freedom Chamber. Find us online at freedomchamber.net. Join us today.